a pop star, part of Atomic Kitten, who sold 10 million records. She's been on reality TV. She's been lucky in love. She's been unlucky in love. She's had a bit of plastic surgery. She's got a story to tell. But do you know what is the abiding theme of this woman's career? The British people love her. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Kerry Katona. Hi, Kerry.
Oh, hi. How are you, my darling?
Listen, I'm so well. And here's the bottom line. The public love you, Kerry.
Yeah. Oh, they do. You know what? If it wasn't for the public, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I think because I'm so open and honest with the mistakes I've made, I'm like everybody else, just I'm in the limelight. You know, whether it's bankruptcy, drugs, divorce, you know, you name it, I've been there, done it, mental health, but I've been open and honest about it. And I think people relate to me. And hopefully, if I can get through it, they can too.
Yes, well, I think if it's not patronising to say, Kerry, I think you're the girl next door that made good.
I agree with you. Coming from a council estate, 4 sets of foster parents, 3 refugees, you know, let's be honest, my life wasn't meant to be what it was. But I really, really worked my bottom off to get to where I am today. So,
well, you really did.
You know,
by the way, you look fabulous. Let's take a look at a video of you in action. Here we go. I think you were about 11 then, weren't you?
Oh, to be young again, Mark. Oh, my goodness. You know what? I've been sliced and diced that much. Now I come in a cardboard box with instructions on how to put me together because I want to look like that again.
Listen, we wouldn't change a thing. You were in the band. It was very, very successful. How did Atomic Kitten happen?
I was in a nightclub. A guy approached me, then introduced me to a guy called Andy McCluskey from Orchestral News in the Dark. Said he was setting up a girl band. I sang a few songs, told a few dirty jokes, and I was the founding member of Atomic Kitten. I literally went from living in a council flat at 17 on my own to, next thing you know, travelling the world. It was amazing. It was unbelievable.
Was it your looks, was it your voice, or was it your personality that got you the gig?
Well, let's be honest, it wasn't my voice. I think a bit of everything, you know, my personality, definitely my looks as well. You know, I was blonde, big boobs, I was gobby. You know, I think it all helped a little bit, all of it rolled into one, really.
Massively successful. You proved a brilliant recording artist, dancer, singer. You looked great. 10 million records were sold worldwide. Why did you leave the band? Now, I think we've lost Kerry. So many questions coming in, by the way. So do keep them coming through. Mark at GBNews.uk. So much to ask this lady, but I've got to tell you, I've spent the afternoon researching her life and her career, and it is a story of survival, a story of forbearance. This is a woman that was essentially passed from foster family to foster family, a very unstable childhood. I'll be asking whether it was a happy or sad childhood, but it was certainly unconventional, and she's had an unconventional life. But here she is now. By the way, she said she'd love to be young again. Kerry, you're only 41. You're still a baby.
Yeah, you know what? And I still think I'm 21 as well. But they say you're only as old as who you're feeling. And my other half's 8 years younger than me, so it's all right.
Listen, big congratulations. Now, look, I mean, funny you mentioned your other half. Have you finally found love? Because I know you've had ups and downs romantically, but are you happy with your current squeeze?
Yes, I'm very happy. We've been together over 3 years now, and I'm not divorced, and there's no babies. Something's going right.
Definitely. Well, look, I'm really happy for you. Let's talk about how it started. You were born in Warrington in Cheshire, and as a child, as you mentioned, you were placed in care and brought up by 4 sets of foster parents. You went to 8 different schools. That's not the ideal start, is it?
No, it wasn't. But you know what? I wouldn't change any of it because it's made me who I am today. And for so many years, at one point, you know, when I was doing the drugs and I lost all the money, it was everybody else's fault. You know, the world owed me a favor. And I would not be who I am today if it wasn't for my childhood, you know, if it wasn't for my mum's mental health issues and for putting me up in foster home. You know, I can't live with regret. You know, my foster parents were amazing. You know, my foster dad gave me away when I married Brian. You know, it's just I've never known any different from the age of 3, you know, watching my mum slit her wrist and, you know, being pushed from pillar. I didn't know any different. It was like being 14 and, you know, I love my mum. She's watching this. She's probably going to go mad. Like, but, you know, she gave me drugs when I was 14. She told me it was speed, it was sherbet. I didn't know any different. I thought that's what you did, you know, and I had to get to a certain age and realise that, you know, that isn't how life is. And that's why I really fought to get out of that situation. And I became in a girl band and that was my get out. That was my get out of everything.
Is your mum better now, and how is your relationship?
Yeah, I love my mum to bits. I love my mum. She's still a big drinker. She's not going to change, but she's my mum. She's the only one I've got.
Yeah, for sure. And what about 8 different schools? How did that shape your personality? Did you have to learn the art of making friends quickly?
Yes, and I think because of that, you know, I can walk in a room and I'm very good at adapting to what people want to hear and what people want to say. I've been in so many situations. The downside with going to 7 junior schools and 1 high school was I'm dyslexic, I can't spell, you know, reading or writing for me was, you know, I couldn't even read a menu when we was with Atomic Kitten. We went to this Mexican restaurant, I couldn't read it because I couldn't read it. My manager would have to order my food
all
for
sorts
me.
of weird dishes. Weird dishes turned up, obviously. Were you diagnosed as dyslexic at school?
Yeah, when I was 9.
You were, okay.
Yeah.
So you had, at least you had that. And in terms of going from school to school, has that left you with an inability to make bond with people? I mean, is that an issue, though, in terms of, like, having secure long-term relationships?
Oh, the longest relationship I've had, Mark, is with the newspapers, probably. You know, I'm really down to earth. I'm really loyal. It took me to the age of 36 to actually go on the spiritual journey that I went on, and for me to realise that your opinion of me, Mark, it doesn't matter. What anybody else, it doesn't matter. It's what I think of myself. I'm, you know, trying to be a better version of me every single day, and I can count on one hand, you know, the closest people that are in my life. It took me a long, long time to realise that because I was so desperate to be loved. You know, I'd pay for my friends to do this, you know, the money I gave my mum, and I just wanted to be loved, and I went about it all the wrong way.
Yeah, Sandy, actually, she's just followed up there and said she's loving the interview, and you didn't get a chance to say why you left the band. So, yeah, what happened, Kerry? Without kind of going over old ground, but for me, the band was never the same after you left. So why did you go?
You know what? I didn't like the fame. Funny enough, I think out of the 3 of us, because there were so many skeletons in my closet, you know, being in foster home and the drugs, and you know, it was all kind of focused on me, and I didn't really enjoy the fame at all. And I fell pregnant with Molly, and my dream wasn't to be a pop star and be rich. My dream was I wanted to be a mum and a wife, and I wanted that family unit, and that was my dream, you know, and I fell pregnant with Molly, and I was marrying, you know, Brian, and that was all I ever wanted.
Yeah, and I think you were the dream showbiz couple. I haven't had the privilege of meeting you, Kerry, but I've met Brian. He's a great guy, and you guys were very
He's a
happy
lovely
together.
guy.
Yeah.
We were, bear in mind, we were very, very young. You know, I was 18 when I met Brian. We were together for 7 years. You know, we had 2 children. And when one person doesn't love you in a marriage, you know, there's nothing you can do. You know, and that did affect me massively. That was a trigger to, you know, a self-destruction for me when Brian left me. For me, that was my downpour.
And look, you have prevailed over so many challenges. Let's touch briefly on your mental health, and it's so great to see you so happy, on top of the world right now. What have been the issues that you faced? I mean, is it just to do with a slightly turbulent childhood, or is it more medical? Because I understand that your mum was diagnosed as having bipolar disorder. So have you inherited some of that?
Well, 1 in 4 people suffer with mental health. I have 5 kids, bound to happen to one of those. I actually went to Oxford University to try and do a study whether, is it learned behaviour? Is it in your DNA? Is it a genetic thing? My mum was diagnosed with manic depression, is what it used to be called back then, and now it's called bipolar. And I was 25 when I got diagnosed with it. And I was delighted when they told me. I didn't even know what bipolar was, but I was just happy that they knew what it was. I mean, I remember being an atomic kitten at 19 and being on antidepressants at 19.
No. Not at all good. Anne on Twitter has emailed a fantastic question in, and she has said the following, Kerry: what advice would you give to your younger self when entering the music industry?
Just do what you want to do. You know what? When you're young and you get signed, they're in full control of what you wear, what you do, who you talk to. I mean, they stopped me from seeing Brian. For me, it's like, go in it with a passion, be you, be true to who you are. And I was really, I didn't really give a monkey's me. I was always in trouble. But yeah, go in it with your heart fully loaded.
William on email has asked, when Atomic Kitten had their summer revival of Football's Coming Home Again during the Euros this year, did anyone get in touch? Are you in touch with the band, Kerry?
No, I'm gutted. We did a tour of Australia. Me and Tash had a bit of a row, but we made up after it. And then we were doing a gig at Butlins, and she came in and said she doesn't want to do it anymore. I was like, oh, all right then. And I thought that was it, but it wasn't. Next thing you know, I saw Tash and Liz still gigging. They just don't want me in it. It's gutted. Absolutely gutted.
Yeah, more fool them. I've also got a question from Michael on Twitter. Has Kerry reached out to Katie Price recently? She's going through a tough time, and I know Katie and Kerry are good friends.
We are good friends, but I'm not going to comment on Katie, I'm afraid.
No, well, I think that's very wise, and I know you're a good pal, and I've worked with Katie, and she's an amazing person, and I think we can both agree that we wish her well, don't we? Harrison on email, does Kerry have anything to say about the LBC presenter Steve Allen after calling Tilly Ramsey a chubby little thing, bearing in mind comments that he said about you in the past?
Yeah, I mean, have you seen him yourself? I think it's absolutely outrageous. I think it's a 64-year-old man slagging off a 19-year-old girl who's probably feeling really self-conscious as it is. He should be fired straight away. He should be fired and sacked. Words actually do hurt. As much as I can turn around and say, yeah, your opinion me doesn't matter, there is that part that, especially in this industry, I've got body dysmorphia. There was magazines with the circle of shame with your fat and your cellulite. Poor Tilly, fair play, she stood up to him. He should be sacked and be made a point of.
Kerry, how is your health at the moment? First of all, how's your mental health?
I've got bipolar. I'm up and down like a yo-yo, I don't know what's happening from one day to the next. Now, my bipolar, I can be 100 miles an hour and then something will trigger me and I can be really down and really depressed. But I've had to learn to educate myself on what my triggers are and on what tools to use for those triggers. My health overall is good, although I have got a real bad back. I've got to have an operation on it. I just found out I've got arthritis in my shoulders. Oh, this is what happens when you get old, isn't it?
Oh, look, I'm sorry to hear that. Look, I do wish you well. You obviously look fabulous, but I know that's only half the story with anyone. And do you feel you've got... Do you think, Kerry, that you've got enough support and enough professional support and medical support for these issues?
Oh, 100% massively. I've kept these therapists in business for years.
Good, good.
You know, and for me, the greatest therapy for me is when I help others as well. When I talk about my issues, like being on here right now,
Yeah.
I get such a buzz from it, knowing, you know, I should be dead. You know, I was snorting that much coke, I collapsed. You know, I shouldn't be here, but I feel so lucky and blessed. I've been bankrupt twice. You know, but I've climbed my way back up. You know, I'm really resilient. You know, you can knock me down, but you can't keep me down.
Do you feel that you've learned along the way? For example, are you less likely to make these mistakes in the future?
You know what? We're human beings, and I cannot sit here and say I will never touch a line of coke again, or I will never, you know, get messed up with the wrong man again, because that is just not realistic. All I can do is take each day as it comes, and I'm gonna make mistakes. You're gonna make mistakes. We're humans, you know. We're not. I'm the closest thing to perfect you're gonna get, Mark, but I'm still gonna mess up.
Listen, you're fabulous. Have you got a decent accountant at least now?
I have an amazing accountant now, and the old one is actually on the run in Ireland.
Okay, well, that's never a good thing. Let's talk about how well you look. The weight has fluctuated, as it does for many of us. But what about that for a before and after? How did you do it, Kerry?
Mark, if I didn't put weight on and lose it, I wouldn't have a job.
Listen, where are you in the cycle? Where are you now?
Now? Don't get me wrong.
Where are you in those two pictures?
Where am I now? I'm probably in between. I'm a 10 to 12 at the minute, which is not my. I'm not happy with that. I prefer being an 8 to 10, but that's just me. I've been sliced, I've been diced, I've been sucked, I've been nicked, I've been tucked. I've done it all. The best way you can do it is exercise, and it really is. Exercise mentally saved my life.
Would you have any more procedures, or are you all done with the surgeon's knife?
You never say never. Do you know what I mean? I think I'm having a midlife crisis with my purple hair.
Is it? Was it worth it? Do you regret any of the plastic surgery, or was it money well spent, Kerry?
Never spent a penny on plastic surgery. Let me make it clear.
Really? So because you're a celebrity, you're in demand as
it all started off when I did an MTV show called Whole Again, and they wanted me to. I had implants, and after my second 2 children, the implants dropped. I had something called double bubble, and they wanted to do this whole TV show on me having surgery. And at first, I'm not doing that. I'm not Frankenstein. And I was talking to parents, you know, in the playground, and they was like, "Well, if you don't have it done, I'll have it done." I thought, well, you know what? I'm getting it for free. Yeah, I'll get it done. And it started from there. I've just had a boob reduction because I kept tripping over my nipples, Mark. Do you know what I mean? It was health and safety. But yeah, I'm one of these people that, you know, if you're not happy with something and you can get it fixed and it helps and you do it for you, by all means do it. You know, men have hair transplants all the time. You know, no one has to go with them. It's do what makes it happy for you. Just don't go over the top with it. Like my face, I don't like messing with my face too much.
Well, we're going to finish on a really upbeat note. But before that, Felix on Twitter asks, was Kerry worried for her reputation when she joined OnlyFans, which, of course, is a subscription website? Are you glad that you did that? And what do you do on the site?
Oh, my God. OnlyFans has made me a millionaire. You know, you've only got to type in Kerry Katona topless, and I'm there topless. I actually started off as a page 3 model when I was 16.
Yeah.
For the Sun, you know, I knew I wasn't going to be a rocket scientist. Yeah, I had a great rec on me. You know, and that was my get out. And it's not, you know, I do all these magazines, sexy photo shoots. I'll go on the beach topless every year with my kids. The paps will get pictures, and they make the money and I don't make the money. So during the first lockdown, I was really struggling to pay my rent because no one was working. And I had to sell my jukebox. And I thought, sod it, you know, I'm going to go on OnlyFans. And I did. I've got no regrets at all. No regret.
Well,
and I'm still on OnlyFans.
Big congratulations. Yeah. I'm sure you've got a loyal and growing fan base. Last question, Kerry. What's next?
Oh, there's so much for me. What's next? You know what my dream is? My dream is to be on stage and do like a Q&A regards mental health and help others.
Great.
That's something I like to do. But Coach Trip starts tomorrow on E4, 9 p.m. Ghost Trip. Me and my daughter done, so make sure you tune in and watch that. And I've got loads going on. I've just invested in a company called Thrills, which is about celebrity videos. I've got my own dating app called Marnie. I've got my own boutique, Kerry's Boutique. We've got our own fitness app, MFit. And I'm also raffling off my £110,000 SPR for a £30 ticket, and you could win it.
Well, I think this is unbelievable. How can people find you on social media, Kerry?
Just type in that weirdo and I'll pop up.
And lucky them. Listen, you have brought some sunshine into the show tonight, and I'd like to extend an invitation on my panel here on GB News. We'd love to have you in the studio to get your opinions on a range of topics. So I do hope that we can make that happen. We'd love to have you here. Kerry, big up to you, and stay awesome.